For more on Spain's economy, I'm joined by Saruhan Hatipoglu, CEO of the consulting firm Business Environment Risk Intelligence. I just would rather say Barry, but for our audience, they should know the full name. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Phil.
Spain, everything okay? Getting better? 3% being predicted. It was 2% by some people. I mean, it seems like that's doing just fine.
3% is a bit too optimistic for the year, but yes, they're doing really well. You gave the numbers earlier on, but I think to understand that they're doing really well, I think we need to look beyond the numbers and talk about what caused that growth. You know, it's not usually government infrastructure spending what emerging markets do to grow like this, especially when you're in a recession area, Eurozone. They did domestic demand. Their retail sales, the latest data, 6.5% year-on-year in December, their fastest growth in 8 years. So people are actually confident. They're spending money, and in a deflationary era too, you know. So in deflation, they usually delay purchases, consumers. They're not. They're saying, look, there's deflationary pressure because of low oil prices, energy prices. That's going to change. We're spending.
One thing that's interesting about Spain is there are not a lot of sort of famous international companies, aside from perhaps Zara, if you will. And a lot of people have criticized the Spanish reforms for not doing enough to encourage more multinational firms to either thrive within Spain or come to Spain to do business. Is the government doing enough, in your opinion?
They're not doing enough, but they've started doing something, and that's the important thing, because a lot of the problems that we're seeing in the peripheral countries in the Eurozone is because they have delayed and delayed and delayed the structural reforms. When the crisis hit, the Spanish government was one of the quickest to do labor market reform. So they made it easier for companies to fire workers. They actually redefined what unfair meant. So if the fired person went to the judge and came back, they might not get the compensation package. So they are doing the right things. They haven't done enough, though. There's a chronic unemployment, youth and overall.
The 24% we talked about it earlier.
It's declining, but yes.
It doesn't seem to be. Look, the stock market's doing fine. The economy seems to be doing fine. The media guys are saying the right things, but the unemployment, I mean, any number north of 20 is horrible. Let's start with that. Whether it's 22 or 23 or 25 or 30%, it doesn't even matter because it's so terrible.
Sure.
What are they going to do about that?
But the thing is, though, Phil, it's not because of the crisis that Spanish unemployment is about 20%. If you look back 10 years, 15 years, they hit around those numbers because labor market regulations, the structural reform was not done. They're doing that now. This is going to take some time. But in the medium to long term, we're going to see much lower unemployment rate in Spain.
Tourism, Barcelona, great destination. I've been there. A lot of our friends here at CCTV have been there. I mean, nothing but good things to say. That's a huge part of the Spanish economy. With the euro the way it is right now, does it get better?
It will get better, but it's not going to save the economy. Look, travel and tourism is about 15% of GDP. And the forecast is that it's going to be 16% by 2025. So that's not a big impact. And employment within the tourism industry is only 5%. So no, tourism is not going to save itself, save Spain from all these troubles. But yes, it is going to be helpful. The important thing is to carry on with the structural reforms. They're on the right track. And sure, they can use the weakness of the euro to their advantage with exports and tourism, but it's not going to by itself solve the problem.
How they got into the mess, big part of it was housing, right? They overbuilt, they overbought, and they overleveraged. It's a similar story even here in the U.S. But somehow we dug ourselves out from here a little faster. For Spain, have they dug their way out of the housing mess yet?
The housing mess is,
the worst is over.
I would say worst is probably over, but the impact of the housing, the construction industry, when the boom was going, a lot of people dropped out of schools, young people, and went into this business. When it went bust, they were the first ones to go, which contributed to the chronic youth unemployment, which is about 50%. I'm more worried about youth unemployment than overall unemployment in Spain. So yes, the industry itself is recovering, but the remnants, the damage that it has left on the economy at the social level is still there, and the country is feeling it.
My wild card question for you, since we have you here all the time. Greece, I know you've been watching this very closely. They seem to have bought themselves at least 4 more months. I've heard from a lot of experts, so what? In 4 months, we're back to this discussion again. I just want to get your professional opinion. What are you telling your clients to do about Greece?
We are telling them that there's a game being played right now, and the game is being played in Germany's terms. 4 months later, same thing is going to happen. I think if Eurozone, I'm going to give that example, if Eurozone loves Greece, it should let it go and see if it's going to come back, if it loves back, right? They have to do that. This is not sustainable. 4 months later, we're going to be sitting here talking about the same thing.
I'm not sure Germany is going to show the love. We're going to get that in just
Probably
a second.
not.
Saruhan, it's good to see you.